3 years, 10 months, and 23 days ago, Trinidad and Tobago eliminated the U.S. from World Cup contention. Now, after all that time, the U.S. is back, and this journey to redemption is going to start at Estadio Cuscatlan in San Salvador. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Alex, and let's jump right into this preview. But first, don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and follow me on Twitter and TikTok. So going into this game, the U.S., well, it's coming off of a very good summer, obviously winning the Gold Cup and the CONCACAF Nations League with two separate groups of players, obviously a little overlap, not that much. How is the U.S. going to come into this game, and what's the approach going to be? So we're going to now take a look at what I think Greg Berhalter is going to do with the lineup and how this team is going to play and how it's going to approach El Salvador. We'll look a little bit at El Salvador, how they're going to play, how they're being coached, and then some predictions for this match and for the other games in CONCACAF. So this is how I think Greg Berhalter is going to line up tomorrow. This is not necessarily what I would do. If you want to see what I would do and more explanation on that, go to my preview for the whole window for the roster and all that. Let's take a look at this lineup here. So he ruled out already Zach Steffen. He had a back spasm or something. So Matt Turner is going to start in goal. We already know that. So for the center backs, now this one, I actually in the roster video said it was going to be Miles Robinson and Walker Zimmerman because John Brooks is coming off a game he played on Sunday and he went 90 minutes in. But to be honest, I'm actually expecting Brooks to start this one. I think he's going to go to a very close to our full-strength lineup against El Salvador. And for that reason, I think it's going to be Brooks and Miles Robinson, which is right now our best center back pairing. I know a lot of people prefer Chris Richards. I think Miles Robinson right now is ahead of him. Maybe Chris Richards will be soon. But anyway, the fullbacks now, Serginho Dest is probably going to start this game. I would be surprised if he didn't. DeAndre Yedlin. This one, it could go either way. It could be him. It could be Robinson at left back. It could be Bello at left back. I think it could really go any of those ways. Some people are saying it could even be George Bello. But I think it's going to be Yedlin. Yedlin does have CONCACAF experience. He was a part of that 2017 cycle. He played in Trinidad. He's played in Panama. He's played in Honduras. So even if he's not played in El Salvador, it's quite a similar experience. And we'll come back to that CONCACAF experience later because a lot of people are discounting it already. You need to really start thinking about it more. At the 6, I have Tyler Adams. Again, I could see this being Kellen Acosta. So Kellen Acosta was phenomenal in the Gold Cup. Tyler Adams, again, went 86 minutes on Sunday against Wolfsburg in the Bundesliga. But Tyler Adams is the second best player on this team behind Christian Pulisic, so there's no Christian Pulisic here. And this team is so much better when Tyler Adams is on the field. That being said, I'm not sure he can necessarily play the full game, all 3 games. So, Weston McKennie as one of the 2 8s, that one picks itself. Now, Christian Roldan as the second 8. Now, I don't like this. I just have a suspicion that Greg is going to do it. So, Roldan, obviously, he's half Salvadorian. His brother, Alex Roldan, plays for El Salvador. So, from the media's perspective, they've been building this up as the Roldan versus Roldan game. And that's fine and well. I mean, you got to promote the game somehow, but at the same time, I don't think Christian Roldan really belongs anywhere near the starting lineup for the U.S. men's national team, let alone in central midfield, which I do not think is his best position. If we're going to use Roldan, I'd much rather use him on the wing. I mean, that's not really a position we need him in, but I'm just not a big fan of Christian Roldan, to be honest. Maybe he'll score and prove me wrong, but yeah, I think he's going to start this game. And a lot of the U.S. soccer promotional stuff has been around Roldan, which is interesting, I think. And then on the wings, there's obviously no Christian Pulisic, so I think it'll be Gio Reyna on the right and Brendan Aronson on the left. Conrad, it's a possibility, but he only has 1 cap, and that cap came last November, so I doubt Conrad gets to start this one. I hope he starts against Canada, though. And then Sargent up top. I would be very shocked if Sargent was not starting up top, given that he's been Greg Berhalter's go-to striker since, well, as long as he's been available post-COVID. So I'd be very shocked if he wasn't starting up top. A couple other guys who could potentially start: Sebastian Lletget, who I would rather start over Christian Roldan as an 8. I don't think he's going to start this game. I know it's a shocker because he started mostly under Berhalter, but I feel like with Adams we have that extra security in the defensive midfield, so it's not so much of an issue. I feel a lot more comfortable in the midfield. I know it's a weird thing to explain, but yeah, it's pretty much just I feel a lot more comfortable with Adams. So Roldan, maybe it's a bit more interesting. Maybe you get that from Reina. And then for the back line, I think George Bello might actually get the start here at left back, but I'm going to go with Yedlin just because of that CONCACAF experience. So, yeah, this is what I think the lineup is going to be. Let me know what you think Greg is going to do. But, yeah, so now let's take a look over a little bit at the El Salvadorian team. So, I'm not an expert on most of these teams in CONCACAF. There's really only 2 teams I can speak with confidence about. El Salvador is not one of those 2 teams. But what do I do know about them is that they're coached by Hugo Perez, who's a great coach, one of the best American coaches, to be honest. And it's great to see the job he's doing over in El Salvador. And he's improved their team a lot. Obviously, last December, the U.S. played El Salvador at what was a pretty close to full-strength El Salvador team. Obviously, they didn't have a goalie, so that didn't help. But we beat them 6-0 with that December camp, which was an MLS team. So, obviously, expectations for El Salvador back then were low. But now, they just had a phenomenal Gold Cup. They almost beat Qatar. They almost beat Mexico. So this is a team that almost won Group A. They were this close to winning Group A. So there are some familiar guys. Josh Perez used to play for LAFC, and of course used to play for the U.S. youth national teams. With a lot of guys who are on this U.S. team, he played with them in the youth levels. Sometimes even coached by Hugo Perez, who gave a lot of these U.S. guys their first appearances in the national team program. And then there's Alex Roldan, of course, who, I mean, he can play the right back. He can also play a couple other positions from the Seattle Sounders. He's an MLS All-Star, so he is a very solid player who's been having a good year. And beyond that, I mean, there's a couple guys you might recognize here and there from MLS, but some of them are also unavailable. There's a guy in the Netherlands, I believe, Enrico Hernandez, I think is his name. He's a striker in the 2nd division, and I think he's going to be their starting striker. So, look, El Salvador, they're a team individually, other than a couple of guys like Alex Roldan. Individually, on paper, they're not that amazing of a team, but as we saw in the Gold Cup, they can be a very threatening team. And the Olympic qualifiers earlier in the year, they also did look quite good, especially with their coach, who is, as I said, one of the best American coaches. And he's instilled confidence in this team that they don't need to sit back and play dirty. They're a team that actually can attack, can actually play soccer, unlike some of these other Central American teams who will beat you by not playing soccer. Now, we're going to talk a bit more about CONCACAF. I see a lot of people putting out their predictions for this game, and they're saying 3-0, 4-0. We're so much better than them that this will be a blowout. And maybe on home soil with a home crowd, maybe that's the case. You guys clearly seem to be forgetting that the U.S. doesn't really win road games in CONCACAF very much. Now, with the talent we have, we're going to win some games, and we should be able to grind out results. But we can't go into all these away games like El Salvador and Honduras just expecting to totally dominate the game. Because, look, yeah, they said they were going to have limited capacity. It's looking like there are going to be about 40,000 people at Estadio Cuscatlán, and this is one of the loudest stadiums in the world. I'm just going to play a clip right now. And I've heard some people talking about experience they've had at some of these stadiums, like Cuscatlán, San Pedro Sula, Saprissa over in Costa Rica. This is like stadiums that aren't necessarily super well kept. So the grass is long. The locker rooms are not super nice. This is the kind of things you're going to get in CONCACAF, right? So El Salvador, they're not an amazing team on paper. Look at these individuals, but look at how good they were in the Gold Cup. Really pushing Mexico to their limits and almost beating the Asian champion. This is a team that can definitely prove dangerous, especially with this very loud, intimidating crowd. This is incredibly loud, and a lot of these players, look, they play in Europe, but they're not prepared for this. This is unlike anything in Europe. This is unlike anything else anywhere in the world. It's just in this region. And we're going to have to see how the players react to that. I can't tell you. Maybe they react to it incredibly. But, again, my prediction for this game, you're going to see in a moment. Because in just a second, we are going to bounce into predictions for all 4 games. And I'm going to do this every preview. I'm going to give predictions for all 4. Alright, so these are the 4 games. Canada, Mexico, Panama, and El Salvador will be the home teams. And Honduras, Jamaica, Costa Rica, and the U.S. will be the away teams. So, Canada versus Honduras, I'm going to say 2-1. Look, Canada at home, I feel like they're going to get points. On the road, I think they're not. They're a better team on paper than Honduras. I think Honduras will end up finishing above them in the table, as I said in my big preview. But I have Canada winning this one 2-1. Second game is Mexico-Jamaica. Now, honestly, when it looked like Mikhail Antonio and Leon Bailey were going to be part of the squad, I was honestly thinking, given the lack of Lozano, Jimenez, Lainez, all those guys, Herrera, Jamaica maybe could pull off an upset here in the empty Azteca, maybe a 1-0 win, but it looks like Antonio and Leon Bailey are not going to be at Estadio Azteca, so I'm going to say 2-0 to Mexico, even with the absences. Panama and Costa Rica, this is a game, honestly, I don't know so much about either of these teams, but these are 2 bad teams in bad form. I'm going to say 0-0. This is not a game to watch. If you're going to watch the games, this is probably not the one to watch. And then El Salvador versus the U.S. I'm going to say 1-0 U.S. I think we're going to grind it out. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about the game plan now, because with some of these teams, we are going to have a lot of the ball, and we are going to have to try and break them down. And that's really what's tricky, right? We're going to have to break down the team. So that's going to require a lot of possession, a lot of passing, and it's not going to be all guns blazing, goal, 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 goal. That's what it was in December at the home game. It's not going to be like that, okay? We're going to have to hold the ball as much as we can, and when we get chances, we're going to have to take them, because no matter how much possession we have, the chances we're going to have, I think, are going to be somewhat limited. So if we can put the ball in the net and dominate on set pieces, dominate on crosses, dominate in the air, that's what this team's good at, then we'll win this game. And look, only 1-0. Whatever it takes. 3 points. 3 points is what we need. I don't care how it looks. I don't care how pretty it is. All I care about is getting 3 points. Because at the end, when the table comes out, it's unless goal difference, it may matter. But in all likelihood, we're going to have enough points to qualify. And that's all that matters. It doesn't matter if you have 35 points and plus 30 goal difference. That's great, but at the end of the day, did you qualify or did you not qualify? So yeah, that's my take on this game. So yeah, let me know if you have any thoughts. Let me know what your prediction is for this game, and yeah, I'll see you guys after the game in some capacity. Maybe it's the next day, maybe I'll just do a live on TikTok, so do follow me on that platform. And yeah, see you guys later.